Hello everyone, this is Michael Stephen Vargas from WeGoChess.com. So, have you been playing a lot of online chess lately? If you did, then there is an option that is available online that is usually not practiced or at all offline, which is takebacks. So this is the ability to grant an opponent or to be granted by your opponent to take back a move that you have already played. So usually this only happens in really beginner-oriented games in real life, but it's becoming much more common online now that a lot of beginners are populating online streams. And so that's the topic of this video. Should you deny takebacks in online chess or should you just grant it? What are the circumstances where it is actually acceptable? What are the circumstances where it is not acceptable? In my opinion, these are all of my reasoning, and so if you disagree, you can feel free to comment below and so that we can have a discussion about this, right? For me, this is what I apply, and so that's just what I'm going to express here. The first scenario where I will almost always deny take back is if they have committed like something that is not so atrocious, like blundering that it blunders a piece upon, for example, that it is actually a decent move that is just a little bit of improvement in the position, and then they send a take back to you. It is likely that they had just found an improvement to that move afterwards, not necessarily that it is a bad move, and that is just a cop out because they are likely to rushing their moves, and that when they found an improvement, then they ask for a take back. I think that is pretty unethical in a competitive environment where you're supposed to be looking which player is better able to play the game. I mean, they should have spent more time looking for it and not ask for a take back in the expense of your time when they just found an improvement. This is especially true if they have enough time to actually think of an improvement, and instead will just play a move and then ask for a take back to actually play the improvement. So this is maybe different if they are in time trouble, it can be debatable, but if in an instance that they have so much time, yet they committed a move that is not necessarily a mistake and then they ask for a take back, I think that is not warranted. I think that both players should just play what they have decided to commit in the first place, especially if there's no reason really, it's not a blunder or anything. I don't think it is reasonable. And I would even argue that even if they are in time trouble, let's say, and it doesn't blunder a piece or anything, I don't think it warrants asking for a take back and being granted a take back, since I mean time pressure is a part of chess. Of course, if they hang a piece, then that might be debatable depending on you. But if just they are asking for little tiny bits of improvement, then I don't think that it would change much. And they may actually toss you, but I don't know. I just don't feel like it is warranted. Maybe you may have a different opinion. Now, what if they have committed a really horrendous move, right? An actual blunder. Maybe they hang a piece, or maybe unknowingly sacrifice a pawn or something like that. Will you deny a take back? Personally, I wouldn't, unless it is a mouse slip. So mouse slips are usually really noticeable. It is just move that doesn't make any sense at all to you. If you have experience in playing chess, you will have an idea which moves make sense and which doesn't. And if the move that they played that actually makes sense and then they blundered in response, then it must mean that they just have not noticed it. And if they just not notice it, I mean, that's a criteria for one to win a game, right? If one player miss a blunder, I mean, if no one blunders, no one make a mistake, nobody will win. I think it is just a part of the game, blundering. And I think we should kind of teach a lesson here or two, maybe. So just don't blunder next time and deny the take back. Unless it is a mouse slip. Mouse slips are usually recognizable that it doesn't make any sense. Like for example, in a position where everybody would castle and then they move the king, it's obviously a mouse slip, right? Something like that. But if it's a blunder that is not a mouse slip, I don't think takebacks are warranted. And another scenario where I would mostly deny a takeback is during time scramble. So time scramble is a situation usually in the end game where both you and your opponent are pretty much low in time, and then you're just trying to make very fast moves in hope of flogging one another or winning on time. So you're just trying to avoid losing on time, and you are both of you are moving very fast. So that is a time scramble. So in this instance, blunders are really natural. Why would you even ask for a take back, right? I mean, that's just how time scramble really is. It's where blunders occur, and if you actually deny a take back, if you actually grant a take back on this, it is on you because you are also in a time trouble yourself. So are most likely to regret this decision, right? And then, what if you are the one who blundered? Like, would they grant a take back for you? So I don't think it is warranted to grant a take back if both of you are both low on time. Also, another instance where I will just deny a take back is if they have asked for a take back repeatedly over and over and over again. So, for example, if they have requested a take back 3 times in a row, right, in a single game, I don't think that is still a mistake, right? So, some element of mouse tips are really controllable, like just taking the time to ensure that you will have that you put your pieces on the squares that you intended them to do. So I, for example, rarely mouse slips, and I think for a reason because I take good care of when take notice of where would I actually put the pieces. So granting a take back in this instance is let's say first and second take back request may be fine if it is reasonable, but 3 or more are just too much, right? If someone is requesting a take back 7 times in a row in a single game, I think accountability really takes priority, and you should teach those players to that this is not how to play the game and that they should face the consequences of their actions. So another now I will segue in what are situations where takebacks are actually allowed or that it is permissible? I say informal games. So if it's a friendly game with no rating in line, I think it is pretty much reasonable to grant a takeback. I mean, if it's, for example, a move that both of you and your friend, right, think are just bad and a mistake, you can ask for take back, sure. Because, I mean, when we play with friends, we are seeking entertainment, not necessarily to beat them. Unlike in an online chess, for example, where it is competitive, of course, you can still play online with your friends through entertainment. But so, if it's just really informal, I think it is okay to grant a take back or two. Just make sure that you don't cry about it if you lose. You can also allow a take back as some sort of an odd. So maybe you should like agree to an odd that you say to your like cousin, I will allow 3 takebacks, right? And they're not that good at chess. So it's really allowing a take back is really up to you in informal games because it can be competitive, like for the one example of for giving an odd, since it can be used in competitive purposes, but it's really just for you if there's no actual rating in line and also there's no prize money on the line, then takebacks are really a good tool to make things much more spicy, right? Also, I think it is also a good resource or good option that you can put in order to introduce beginners in the game. So if you introduce some beginners and trying to get them hooked with chess, allowing a take back is really one of the best ways to go because if they are just new, they are likely to make a mistake. So you could allow them to, you could actually play with them, explain the rules, and then allow them like infinite take backs. And every time they make a mistake that you pointed out that here, this is the mistake, this is why it is a mistake, then I think takebacks are really a good tool in that specific situation when you are dealing with a beginner. With online chess in specific though, I think it really just boils down to one thing, is that can you really play online chess without ever requesting for a take back? And I can tell you, I have been playing for a long time now, and it's really rare, really rare for me to ask a take back, especially if it's competitive. Usually nobody will grant a take back win because they want the win, right? They want that rating, but it's I think really there are certain factors in a some people may think that it's reasonable to ask a take back that can actually be controlled. Even mouse slip, as long as you are careful enough. And I think chess is just a game of accountability. And if you are not really facing the consequences of your decisions, you will not try to actually adapt and learn from those mistakes. At least that's just for me. And you could also view is that that if you deny a take back in online chess, you can view it as a sort of education, right, for your opponent, that this is how to play chess. You have to face your consequences, unless it's a mouse slip, or the exception of that is they did it so many times, and then it becomes a choice. But if it's just mouse slip, then okay, take back. But for the most part, really, I think test take backs should be eliminated from your mindset, at least on the game. So that is all of my thoughts with accepting and denying takebacks. So maybe if you really have a different opinion than me, you can feel free to comment below and have some sort of discussion. But in my regard, that is all for this video. So sleep well and play chess.